when something looks very good, it is a bias that humans have that it also works very well. They've actually made personas of kind of people who will come here. Ultimately, it is tied to their business goals. It's not that they have designed it in such a way that people are like benefited, like doing some social service or something like that. It's not like that, right? You would ask me how I'm relating the Haunted Restaurant to this, but I'll tell you. The way they have designed it, it makes people feel that we can actually gather here, spend some time, get the vibe, and obviously the food is anyway very tasty. The time is 1:15. And I can't believe there are still so many people. There are still people at the line at the Rameshwaram Cafe. Right? Of course, I'm here to have some ice cream. I don't think this is the best dish to actually have at Rameshwaram Cafe. Obviously, I've been here. I just love the ghee idli over here. I still see a lot of people ordering dosas and idlis at this at 1:15.
The only thing that is sold out is rice bath.
Sorry? What is
The only thing that is sold out is rice bath, and everything else is available.
Oh.
At 1:15.
Yeah. So, what surprises me is, like, what is it they're able to do? Actually, I feel there's something in the design of Rameshwaram Cafe that is making people feel very welcome, even at this particular point of time. I mean, the food is great, no doubt. Okay, obviously the taste is really good, and of course there are people who argue on both sides. Like some people like there's a lot of ghee, and some people like there are other stores like Veena stores and all that. So like it's a big argument altogether. But what I feel is that the way they have designed this store, the whole experience of the entire store, definitely there is something, which is really welcoming people. Now, if you observe, if you think of it, unlike many other Udupi hotels who generally optimize for entering from only one side, if you observe this, like all sides, it's pretty much open all sides, right? It's very much open all sides, and any side you want, you can enter. And look at all the way they have placed all the stands, right? You can stand anywhere. On top of it, even if you want to sit down, you know what? This is very much like a temple. I'm feeling that this is very much like a temple. What do you say?
Yes. The theme, their whole theming is around temples, right? Rameshwaram, they're giving a feel of a temple.
Yeah, because
Like even if you see here, these statues of these lions and all.
I'm just realizing that because I think there is so much inspiration from a design of a temple, because even in a temple it is designed basically for people coming and sitting in multiple places, either standing and talking. They can feel free to sit wherever they want, right? It makes total sense. What I'm trying to say is Rameshwaram Cafe has been designed getting inspired from a temple. In a temple, you can basically gather at a temple. You can be at any place. You can sit at any place, right? And basically, it gives you a vibe of something is actually happening. And I see that happening over here. So I think the way they have designed it, it makes people feel that we can actually gather here, spend some time, get the vibe of actually sitting wherever we want, spending some time over there, and obviously the food is anyway very tasty, right?
I have one more question here.
Yeah.
Is it because of the way it has been built in such a way that it feels like a temple and people feel like we can sit anywhere, or because there is no other option, people are just sitting anywhere they want?
No. I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the point is, the person who designed this should have anticipated something like this. And that's the job of a designer, right? Of course, in this context, the designer is called as an architect, frankly speaking. Now, right? Or whether it is an architect or a space designer, or I don't know what exactly it is called. But the aspect of trying to understand who the people and how they would behave, right? And designing the space according to the way people would behave when they want to come over here. The beauty is, ultimately it is tied to their business goals. It's not that they have designed it in such a way that people are like benefited, like doing some social service or something like that. It's not like that, right? Their business goals are pretty simple. Their business goals is obviously to sell as fast as possible. People can quickly eat, have some time, experience, and go away, right? And that's one more beauty. There are few places where people can sit, maybe some vendors and all, but largely the space is optimized around people just standing, spending some time and leaving. Right? But what I'm trying to say is, we generally are in experiences where something has been designed, and when we observe as humans, how do we adapt to it and how do we have some experience within it. But we fail to see that the designer has already anticipated and then designed in such a way because of which people are actually behaving in this manner. People are able to sit at multiple places because the space has been designed in such a way that people can actually sit in multiple places.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, even if they don't have these boards, or even if there is no, like, it's not like chairs are present everywhere. But if there are a bunch of steps like things which you can observe over here, people will sit.
Yes.
Right? So, see, I'm just thinking, like, if at all I was the designer of this particular space, what would be my thoughts? Right? How would I define the problem? What would you say?
So the first thing I can think of is like, even before Rameshwaram has become this big, I have been to Rameshwaram, the Indranagar one,
Okay.
small Rameshwaram,
Okay.
beside the naturals. It's like a very small space, just like the Iglu Guru which used to be there.
Okay.
It used to be the small space. Beside that, there used to be tables. I remember a time I waited 30 minutes in the queue to get a dosa there.
Okay.
So I think they wanted to solve the problem of the space, first thing, so that a lot of people can accommodate. And the second thing they want to solve is like they don't want people to wait for so long to order something.
Correct. I mean, because obviously their food business was a hit.
Yeah.
They started getting traction because of that. But that's the beauty. You have seen some traction. You have seen that your food business is a hit. They want to expand. So how do you do the stores? Right? This is a beautiful case of basically you have a base MVP product, renewable product. No, what do I do to expand? Do I just replicate it? No, you hire a designer. You're going to a new space. You want to cater to a new bunch of audience. So do you just take a standard format which you assume might work, or do you actually give it to a designer and start thinking about what can probably happen at that particular point of time, at that particular place? In a place like this, now obviously around this area, if you look at all those apartments and all that stuff, right? Now, this is an area where well-to-do people are there, frankly speaking. Now, because I know the price of that apartment, it starts at 9.8 crores. That was 5 years ago. So probably, I don't know, it's some 15 crores or something where it starts, right? Now, in an area like that, and a bunch of houses, obviously, this is Malleshwaram, and Rajnagar is a little, but this is Malleshwaram.
Okay.
This part is Malleshwaram,
Yeah.
right? So this is Malleshwaram, and if you think of it, of course, Rajnagar, Malleshwaram, also crowded by a lot of people also coming from Tamil Nadu as well, right? So there are a bunch of well-to-do people, and there are people who have some origins in terms of coming from Tamil Nadu, right? And the cuisine is pretty much close to how people expect it to be in a place like that, right? Now, you have to obviously keep in mind these kind of people, right? So the designer who has replicated this has really thought about those things. Damn sure. Why? Firstly, if you look at it, visually, they have not compromised on the way it looks. It looks like a temple, but it looks like a very class temple, including the set of stones they have used or the colors they have picked, including all these, what do you call this?
Shades.
The shades. If you look at like every chair, every stone which is used, and people's uniforms
It
at the
looks
background.
like granite.
Yeah.
How it's used in temples.
So people's uniforms are the background walls and all that, right? And including those, when you wash your hands,
Yeah.
all the ways and everything, they made sure that there is detail in every small visual, so that it definitely makes sure that it appears that it is a very, very class place to be. Like it's definitely a well taken care place. Basically, acidic usability effect, right?
Yes.
When something looks very good, it is a bias that humans have that it also works very well, right? And when things are so perfectly placed and taken care of, every small detail is taken care of. So people expect that obviously the experience will be good and the food will be very good and all that stuff. And they do justice. I'm not just saying that just setting the expectations or not doing it, but they're also doing justice to it. But I can see that because of that uh, very, very good care presented in every small aspect, they've definitely thought about the kind of people who will come over here. Definitely, I mean, in UX terms, we call it making some personas, right? They've actually made personas of kind of people who will come here, right? And definitely multiple choices, even in their food. Um, Especially me coming from a very similar background, I love ghee. Right?
Yeah.
So I know there are people who complain about ghee being a little high over here, but I think it's a choice, right? You can obviously go with, uh, you know, something which is might be popular around this area, but on the other hand, do you want to be authentic towards the kind of audience you want to attract over here? Or probably one more beauty. Even if it goes towards hate, right? Even if people are like, there is so much ghee and all, that gets a lot of word of mouth. The good part is whether it is negative publicity or positive publicity, people definitely it goes to word of mouth that Rameshwaram Cafe means lot of ghee. If I love ghee, I'll come here. I might say, too much ghee, man. It's so unhealthy, and I'll still eat idli. I'll still eat the pongal. The pongal is amazing over here, right? So I see that every decision which they have taken over here is a very, very thoughtful one. They've clearly calculated the way their audience, the way their, we don't call them audience, we call them customers. For a restaurant, what do we call them? Customers only. A person who buys in a shop is called a customer.
Consumer.
For a video, it is a consumer is a much larger term. It's a customer only, most probably. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, if you think there is another term, please let me know in the comments. So, but yeah, so obviously, since it's a transaction, people are buying something, we'll still call them as customers. Now, when you really think about your customers and when you have thought about, okay, and the good part is, look at the way the place is positioned, right? Now, the place is positioned in a corner. Anyone who goes on this particular road, right, or that particular main road, whoever goes on this road, the moment they see it, they'll see people standing in the lines, people having conversations, it being a large space. The entire theming of the restaurant looks very pretty class. If you look at their logo and all that stuff also, it doesn't look like any normal Udupi hotel branding or anything like that. It's pretty class. It's very nicely done. You look at all that and you immediately feel like, oh man, like, of course, there are two things you'll think. Like, these days people are like, they're just crazy about anything and everything. Or you'll be like, this is some place I need to go. I'm really getting this vibe. Whatever the reason is, you will definitely want to come and try it. So, because it's a corner, either you're on that road or in this road, you can, and even if you are right, like far away from there as well, you can clearly see the entire drama which is happening over here. And that was not done in randomness. That was really thought about. How do you engage people, right? Even in UX, we talk about it, right? So I'll talk about a very interesting principle which comes to my mind. Doherty threshold. If you think of it, you would ask me how I'm relating Doherty threshold to this, but I'll tell you. So Doherty threshold says, a person, a person who is interacting with a computer needs to get a response back within 0.4 milliseconds, or else the human will think that the system is not responding. Okay, and the example is given like when you click on some button or something and it has to go somewhere. Within 0.4 milliseconds, you need to show some feedback. If it is loading, you have to show a loading bar. If you don't show that, the human can start thinking that it is not working and start doing a lot of clicks, right? Now, this Doherty threshold is coming backwards from the understanding that the system should clearly state its status. Like people should clearly know what's happening. Which reminds me of another principle called visibility of system status. It's one of the fundamental heuristic principles, right? It says always make sure that you have visibility of whatever is happening with the system, so that people are aware, people have clear understanding and make informed decisions, right? Now I'm taking these principles of visibility of system status, right, and Doherty threshold, what I'm extracting out of it is all you need to do is to make sure that people ultimately by showing a loader, ultimately by making sure what's happening in the system, all you're doing is making people informed about what's happening. That means you're engaging them, right? Now I'm relating all this to the drama which is happening in Rameshwaram Cafe by saying that if it was just a closed restaurant with all those walls and stuff like that, you have no clue of what's the drama which is going on. Now there is a drama which is happening over here, and what's happening is clearly the system status is visible, right? And basically, I know this is a UX principle, and I'm extracting it out as a marketing principle, Frank. Basically saying, the more people understand about what's happening inside, the more involved they feel, the more engaging it feels, and the more you're getting towards it, right? I'm talking about a marketing principle there, but I'm relating it to the UX principles, which again are Doherty threshold. All it says is please give feedback and put a loader. A loader is nothing but it's not doing anything other than communicating you and engaging you in that particular point of time, simply speaking, right? And I'm just extracting that, and I'm telling that the moment you engage, you show the drama, people get more engaged, and then people feel more connected. So yeah, that way I'm really ecstatic that there's so much. I mean, this is so awesome, man. We should keep doing this again and again and again, wherever the F we go. What do you say, Amsi?
Yeah, with all the points as well, listening to all the points which you have spoken. See, there might be a lot of reasons that Rameshwaram Cafe has been designed this way, or the people experiencing this. Keeping it all aside, but whatever you spoke, inspired something.
Probably they'll be like,
what I'm
did we really think of this much?
Exactly. See, next time I go to some renowned place like this, or next time I go to a mall, a very big mall, which is constructed just for people having a good experience or anything, I might look at it in a different way. I might
Absolutely.
look at a movie theater or a movie hall, not just about the construction, but about the overall experience. It might be about food, it might be about a movie, a place, or anything. So, as people who learn or pursue UX design, I think people should go around, just look at
Absolutely.
things,
Absolutely.
ask questions, not just think, look at something and say, okay, this is a good design. But say, ask themselves, okay, why is this a good design? How am I experiencing this? Is this not a good design? Or no, just keep asking yourself questions, and I think
Absolutely.
they'll be able to learn a lot from themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the point is, that's the beauty which I keep talking about, right?
Yes.
I mean, should you really always be by the book? Should we always sit and say, okay, now I'm going to spend time in learning UX, right? We had no clue, right? We are just in a random place called, like at 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
We are at a random place. We are in a restaurant, a very crowded restaurant, and we just spoke for some 10 minutes. And there is so much about UX we are already talking about. And it's not just about the architecture which we spoke, right? We related it to UX principles. And if you give me half an hour more, I will talk even more lot about UX and get inspired and can relate it to multiple things, even in interface design, right? That's the beauty. The beauty is we always have the opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
We are just blocking ourselves and saying, I don't want to learn at the remaining times. I only want to learn only when I open the book.
Yeah. Only when the time you dedicate yourself to learning.
Right? Guys, I'm telling you one thing. If you are like this, you learn from everything around you, irrespective of whatever the society thinks, right? I don't fucking care what the society thinks out there. They're like, oh, this guy goes to Rameswaram Cafe and like is talking about UX, he has no other job or something. Irrespective of whatever the F they think, I am damn happy about UX. It just, I feel like,
Especially about Rameshwaram.
right? I mean, you can see the energy, you can see the ecstasy, and this is real, guys. I mean,
It's
It's
This
not
is-
just for the sake
yeah,
of
this
video
one,
or something
it's
like
not just for the sake of
that. He
video or
behaves like this even in real life.
I'll probably ask him to just keep doing some vlogs secretly as well.
Yeah.
But that's the point. The point is, if you can live a life like this, right? I mean, you'll never have a, you'll never feel work like work. That's the point. That's the beauty, right? So awesome, awesome.
So actually, I have one more thing
Huh.
over here. Like, if we go a step backwards,
Huh.
for example, understanding about the product, because what do they make here? The kind of food they make here, like for example,
Correct.
you take the pulihora,
Huh.
the taste, one bite of it, and you'll rate it to the temple. The prasadam which is offered in the temple.
Correct.
So that's what
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what I'm thinking, like, let's just think that designer doesn't get a brief. I'm relating it back to a like
Okay,
as
okay,
a US
okay.
designer.
This is right. Makes sense.
If
So
you take, if you
basically,
take it as a product, the more you understand about the product, the more you can make it better. The understanding, like,
got it. So what you're trying to say is, okay, you're relating it to whether the brief was, whether it's given or not.
yeah,
You're saying as a designer, if only try to understand more about the product which I'm offering as well, right?
yes,
Which makes sense, right? I mean, okay, you are, the best dishes you have are the dosas and idlis and the pongal.
yeah,
Now, you anyway make them very well. Now, yeah, this is the beauty. Now, when you're trying to understand those particular customers, right?
yeah,
When you made those persona diagrams and all that stuff, right? Typically in an area like this, people would go to a lot of temples, especially if you see Tamil Nadu,
yeah,
every street there is a temple,
yes,
right? And that's the same, very much similar thing about Malleshwaram as well.
Yes.
There are many temples over here, right? So definitely there are a lot of people who are like very much used to going to temples, and absolutely the moment you go to a temple, the most important thing which comes to your mind is the prasadam, and absolutely love the prasadam which you get over there, right? So can I actually start thinking of the product that the moment I keep that pongal in my mouth, can I just instantly, if I close my eyes, remember that day when I went to the temple and I am in that peace and right?
yeah,
It just transports us back to there.
yes,
So right from the way they have packaged the product, the way they have designed the taste, the way they have presented it on the banana leaves, right? When they actually give it on the banana leaves,
yeah,
the scent around the store, and including all the visual design choices,
even
right?
if you have listened,
Yes,
seriously,
the music.
it was like a
Yes,
the Melam
Correct. Right? So everything is so thought and designed and see, that's the beauty of design, right? Until we are decoding the entire design, we have not really observed.
Yes.
Until now, we just remember that we had a great experience in Rameshwaram Cafe, and that's the beauty as well. Anyway, but we've had a great experience. The food is great, and all this. The ghee is amazing, and you will just remember the ghee which you used to have in your house and stuff like that. And after that, you're gone. But the entire experience has been created even without you as a customer or a user thinking about all these things. But they've actually added on to the experience.
Yes.
And this makes me speak of one more beautiful point. A lot of times, when we design, right, a lot of times it is asked, right, hey, why do you have to care about the overall visuals, the overall, like, why do you have to worry about every interaction which is there out there? We have a business metric out there. You have a idli, you'll have to sell it. Hey, you have this particular thing, you just have to sell it. Why don't you do a minimum viable product design, right, of this and just get away with it, right? And that's the beauty. The beauty is the moment you misunderstand the word experience, all these things comes. Minimum viable product, people misunderstand the word viability. People just think, okay, just as long as food is going into your mouth, you're okay with it, right? But the point is, your business thing sells if the experience is great.
Yes.
Your product definitely sells if the experience is great. And how do you how do you give an experience? You need to make sure every part of it gives the emotions to the customers which are there.
Yes.
Only when there are emotions associated with any particular act which a customer does, that is when you give them an experience. And every emotion they experience is actually thought of.
Yes.
That's the designer's job. And in fact, this is fucking called as the customer journey map. right?
Yeah.
So in a journey map, even if you have seen any of those templated journey diagrams, right, all you'll see is that graph which goes up and down, and there are some smileys and emojis in it. See, ultimately, what they're trying to say is, are you crafting the emotions at every stage of how a customer is trying to experience a particular product, right, or whatever the task they're trying to do? Now, the good part is these people have nailed the entire experience, right? Every part of it, they're making sure that the smell, the music, the whole thing, they're making sure that your emotions are hit at that spot, that you have a great experience. And the thing is, your customers will not come back and say, oh yeah, the music was nice. Oh yeah, the temple's, the pillar was nice. Or oh yeah, I saw the flooring, it was great, or nothing. They'll probably just talk about your food or something like that, right? And they'll say, no, I want a better tasting food and all. That's why we should not be fooled by just saying, hey, you know what? Whatever customer asks in the feedback is exactly what I'll provide. That's not what customer backward design is, right? Are we really empathizing them? Are we getting into their feet? Are we experiencing things the way they experience? And are we crafting for every part of the emotion which they tell and don't tell? That is what you need to do as a designer, right? This is a beautiful point, man. Very beautiful. So yeah, man, I mean, I think I'm damn in for having these conversations on a daily basis, man. I think amazing. So, and definitely a lot of food. If food, Rameswaram Cafe, food.
Better have some butter idli or something instead of fruit salad, and we'll make the most of what Rameswaram Cafe has to offer.
But what I think is, let's go to another place rather coming back to Rameshwaram. And talk
Awesome.
about-
So,
Next time we'll go to that imaginary
hey,
Rameswaram
you know what?
Cafe.
Please comment what is the place in Bangalore, or maybe any place in your city. Please comment where I think I should come, and I should talk about UX from that particular place.
UX food box.
No. It need not be just food. It can be anything. It can be a park. It can be a bathroom. It can be a parking place. It can be anything. A bus stand. Just comment over there where you think I should come. Wherever you think it is impossible to talk about UX, I challenge you. You invite me there. I'll talk about UX, and I'll be as excited as this. Woo!
Student for life.
Student for life.